Mercury is the planet of communication, thinking, and opportunity and adaptability. So when it is in Cancer, this is showing somebody who likes to think about the themes of Cancer and communicate about those things. Today, we're going to be talking about this placement. And generally speaking, Cancer is about our emotions, it's about the past, and it's about security and comfort. So people that have Mercury in Cancer are people that like to think about the past. Since Cancer is also about solutions to problems, and it's all about answers because it's the sign that comes after Gemini. Gemini is all about thinking and it's all about ideas. Cancer is all about intuition or answers. Generally speaking, people that have Mercury and Cancer are quite intelligent, and they are people that like to think about solutions or answers. That's just their thought process to things. And they like to think about long-lasting ideas, or things that are going to be true for a long time. Because Cancer is about the preservation of things, and it's also about time, things that take energy, time, or care. Cancer rules things such as gardening or raising a family or investing for the long term. So as I was saying, these individuals that have Mercury in Cancer like to think about the past. Next, we're going to talk about their communication style. And after that, we're going to conclude with how do you make them talk? Like, how do you start a conversation with a Mercury in Cancer, or how to make them open up intellectually. I'm interrupting this video with a brief mid-roll promotion. I wanted to talk to you guys about readings. I'm currently doing natal chart readings and interpretations. So if you would like a personalized video reading that is private and only sent to you, covering your personality, your talents, as well as your financial astrology, and then your destiny or your soul's purpose, which would be based on the North Node placement and the rulers of that, then check the email in my description, which is readings@astroseri.com, and go ahead and send me an email if you would be interested in booking a reading. I also offer aspect table readings, meaning all of the aspects that are in your chart and what they mean. And finally, I offer synastry readings, which is about love and compatibility. For the most part, everybody that I've done a reading has been amazed with the results and has greatly benefited, at least half of whom have left a donation after the reading to show their appreciation because my prices were too cheap, or have purchased a second reading for somebody else or for additional questions that they had. Now, my readings go in depth, so it is not for the faint of heart. So if you do not want to know how you really are based on your chart, then the readings are not for you. If you would like an interpretation of your chart by me, then definitely feel free to send an email. Let me know which type of reading that you're interested in, and we will work things out from there. With that being said, let's get back into the topic of this video. Thank you. So first of all, their communication style. Their communication style will be emotional, soft, or nurturing. So they may communicate about their feelings, or that may be something that they like to do. And for the most part, they could feel or be more reserved, especially in situations where they feel like they can't open up or that they will be too vulnerable. So a lot of times these individuals can be very observant. In fact, that's another general trait that I forgot to mention, is that since Mercury rules the 6th house and the sign Virgo, this is all about observation. And when it's in Cancer, the combination of Cancer and Virgo makes somebody that's really observant and notices like details, and more so in the sense that they're very receptive to information. So in terms of their communication style, they can be more quiet, and instead they could be more like receptors of information. They're more observant, especially if they feel like they're in a situation they can't be vulnerable or open up because they don't feel safe or they don't know the people well enough. So anyways, their communication style will also be soft or nurturing. So either this could manifest as the person having like a very soft voice quality, or it could just be the way that they speak is very slow, is like very comforting, soothing as well, but it's like something about it is soft and gentle. Now, as I was saying, Mercury, when it's in Cancer, shows somebody that thinks about Cancer things. Cancer is all about security. So people that have Mercury in Cancer, in terms of what they think about security and comfort. And when Mercury is in Cancer, it's in the second sign from its own sign. The second house is all about practical matters, and it's all about stability, and it's all about making plans, because it's ruled by Taurus. So generally speaking, this second house influence shows somebody that has an intelligent mind because they think about practical matters, and they're also people that have a ability or interest in making plans. Like they plan things out a lot, and that is Mercury in Cancer. Mercury is also in the 11th sign from Virgo when it's in Cancer. The 11th house is all about intelligence, and Mercury is exalted in the 11th house. So Mercury does pretty well in Cancer because it shows somebody that thinks about solutions and that can be inventive or have a lot of ingenuity. So if you have this placement, people will sometimes compliment you about your ingenuity or like your logical process of how you find solutions. But it could be a more intuitive process. So it could be something that's not so logical and calculated or mathematical, but rather the way that you think is intuitively intelligent, and like you find creative solutions to things, especially because water signs are about creativity rather than practicality or logic. But nonetheless, somehow you get to a very logical conclusion or solution. And that's because Mercury is in the 11th sign from its own sign. The 11th house is the exaltation of Mercury, so this is a good aspect. So ultimately, how I would summarize Mercury in Cancer is it shows somebody that thinks and talks about what matters, because Cancer is ultimately about emotions and things that matter. So these people are only interested in talking about either things that matter in a practical sense or that matter to them emotionally. And they also like to talk about things that are long term. So yeah, that's the summary. But in terms of some final things that I forgot to mention, or like traits that they have, Mercury in Cancer will show somebody that tends to hold on to savings and that accumulates practical wins or gains. So like they will be smart about prices on items and like on food. Like they'll be financially savvy people, and they hold on to the small wins because Cancer is all about savings. And Mercury shows an opportunist. So this is somebody that's opportunistic about savings or long-term wins or long-term gains. Now, the next thing is that in terms of how they communicate, they like to communicate with a purpose, because Cancer is all about purpose. It's all about the investment of time, energy, or care towards a sustainable goal. The final thing I forgot to mention is that since Mercury is all about opportunity, these individuals are opportunistic about emotions or security or comfort. In other words, these people are the best at establishing or adapting to a living situation. So when it comes to finding home situations, if they're on the go, or like if they have to move somewhere, they're able to establish comfort anywhere, or they're able to easily find a lease or like a living situation, or to adapt and even like network, or like be able to find people to live with. That's because Mercury is all about adaptability. And when it's in the sign of home and comfort, it shows somebody that has that gift when it comes to security. They could move around a lot. They could live in one place, but they could have the ability to change or move around and have comfort in various locations, or like through various connections that they have. And the reason why is because Mercury is about opportunity. But, in terms of Mercury being in Cancer, Cancer is also about processing things. And Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, which is mutable air. Mutable signs are about adaptability or change, and air is about information. So these individuals process information. Like they take a bunch of random information, or like a bunch of things that are presented to them, and they will process it deeply because their Mercury is going through the sign of Cancer, which is all about processing or incubating things. Now, to conclude this video, we're going to talk about how to talk to a Mercury in Cancer. How do you get them to talk, or how do you get them interested in conversation? For the most part, they will be closed off and more observant or listeners if they don't feel like they can open up about important things. And so the things that get them interested is when you talk about, or you bring up the themes of the past and past experiences, so things such as memories, or if you talk about practical or personal matters. So if you ask them questions about practical things or about things that personally have significance to them, especially if you get them in a train of thought where you guys are processing those experiences through the form of a conversation. Now, secondly, to make them interested in a conversation and want to chime in, you also want to talk about things that matter. So you want to talk about things that especially matter on an emotional level for yourself. So things that personally matter to you, things that you're personally interested in or care about, either yourself, or ask them something regarding what they're personally caring about. And that is situations where they find it most easy to talk. And also they find it most easy to talk to family and personal life individuals, because Cancer is about our personal life and our family. So that could be another thing, is that people with Mercury in Cancer could be more closed off in the outside world, but when it comes to family, they open up and they become more talkative. Anyway, to summarize how to get them to talk as well, since Cancer is about long-lasting situations and it's about things that we preserve, people with Mercury in Cancer, they like to communicate only when there is a long-lasting goal to the conversation. So meaning, if the person or the train of thought is dependable, or like the intention of the conversation is to start a connection, because Cancer can also be about connection. So you need to show them that the conversation is dependable, or that it is a long train of communication, meaning that it's something that is worth investing time, energy, or care into in a long-term sense, like that this conversation is leading somewhere, because Cancer is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are all about leading somewhere or going somewhere, and water signs are about connection, and Cancer, which is mutable water, is all about long-lasting situations, and it's all about time. So they open up as well with time. So if this person is closed off at first, it's really because they're testing the waters, no pun intended. Now that basically summarizes Mercury in Cancer. It also shows somebody that looks for secure job opportunities, or that looks to work from home. So that's like a random trait of them. They really care about security when it comes to jobs, because Mercury rules Virgo, the 6th house, and it's all about our work life. With that being said, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope this was insightful. And if you would like a personalized natal chart reading, which is private and only sent to you, where I make a video breaking down your chart and each of your placements, as well as your basically your personality, your talents, and your financial astrology, and then finally your destiny based on the North Node placement, then if that interests you, then check the link in my description to my Patreon, where I do a discount on natal chart readings for Patreon subscribers, and you can send me a private message with your inquiries, or with the interest of booking a reading, or you can send me an email, which is in the description as well. I have the email there if you'd like to book a reading. With that being said, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will talk to you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.